I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Here.
Mr. Lindemann?
Here.
Dr. Gomez?
Here.
Mr. Ramos?
Here.
Mr. Barrain?
Here, approval of the minutes, board members. Item 1D, entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
By Mr. Lindemann. Is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Selchow?
Mr.
Oh,
Ramos?
I'm sorry, Mr. Ramos. That's my deaf ear over here. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Barrain?
Yes. Item 1E, summary of current events. Superintendent, Ms. Samaniego.
Yes, good evening, Mr. President, board members, and members of our staff and community. Welcome to our meeting. Just a few updates. As you all know, the recent events in Uvalde have led every school district and every law enforcement agency under concern once again. And so last week I had a meeting with several law enforcement officials, our own security staff here, just to initiate the conversation regarding school safety preparedness for the upcoming school year. It was a very powerful meeting with some next steps to follow as far as ALIS training, doing some mock scenarios over the course of the summer that involves the assistance of local law enforcement agencies, utilizing some of our school facilities to do some further training, and also conversations amongst the local law enforcement in as far as their own training protocols and being in the same page as far as reacting to different scenarios. So one of our school security officers is going to be attending ALIS training in Wilcox to be a trainer of trainers, I believe, right, Mr. Augie? Okay, and that is not Augie, our supervisor, but Mark Gonzalez, one of our retired police officers, who is also one of our own security. So we will be meeting over the next summertime, next couple of months, to reestablish our plans for safety, our emergency response plan, and continue the work for further training and analysis of our own school system safety. We also have the summer school is on week 2, and we have a lot of students attending summer school from high school to elementary and middle school. And so just a reminder that high school is holding their own summer school, and then we have summer school at Sarah Marley for K2, 3-5 at Clawson, and a middle school at Paul Huber Middle School for both middle schools. And just in 6th grade alone, we have about 65 students, 7th grade 57, 8th grade about 87. Then we have our 21st Century Summer School program happening with about 70-some students altogether. Douglas High School has a total of about 144 students attending for credit recovery. And then our K2 has over 130 students, and over at our 3-5 program, we have over 150-60 students attending. So we are doing well in that aspect. I also just came back from an Arizona School Latino Administrator Board meetings, and so I'm part of that board for AZ ALAS. We work really hard in developing Latino leaders in principal roles, coaching roles, assistant principals, and so developing leaders is one of our missions, and also giving scholarships to students. So I will, for this next year, I will be the secretary for AZ ALAS. I've also been asked by ASA Executive Director to be part of an Aspiring Superintendents Leadership Academy, which serves both roles for professional development for superintendents and also mentoring new aspiring leaders to go up into the superintendency role. And so that's a year-long program that I will be part of, and so very excited for that opportunity as well to work with other school leaders who want to step into this awesome role of a superintendent. We also have our July 5th meeting. We are going to move that up to 2 p.m. That'll be our budget meeting with a budget adoption and 2:30 public hearing for that. And then, in addition to that, we're going to need to have a special board meeting on June 24th at 10 a.m., and that will also be to propose budget meeting. So I just wanted to let you know those 2 dates. And that is all I have for now.
Okay, well, first of all, congratulations to you on being selected for that very important position. And also, could you explain, especially for the public, why you asked the board to meet at 3 o'clock today? Because it deviates from our normal schedule.
Yes, our admin team has been attending Leading Change, which is one of the AD conferences for educators. And so our administrative team attends that, and most of them have left already. So we need to try to get there as soon as possible. So that's why we had to move the meeting to 3 o'clock to allow some of them to travel and the rest of us to go later on.
Okay, and then I think you have another item there?
Which other one?
Douglas Business Network?
Oh, yes.
Are you going to do that under your report?
And it was just a certificate, I believe.
Yes.
Right?
So you're not going to do that now?
I don't, do I have that, Alma?
No,
It's right
Mr.
here?
Robles is here.
Okay, Mr. Robles.
Mr. Brain?
Excuse me a minute, one second.
I'm sorry.
Dr. Gomez.
Just tell me again, when is the
Is it
board
June?
meeting in July?
July 5th,
Okay.
and at 2 p.m.
Okay.
Does that work?
Well, no, it won't.
No?
That's okay.
Okay,
That's okay.
okay. Mr.
Go ahead,
Robles?
Mr. Rowland.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and I really want to say thank you for DUSD for taking that initiative on security of our students. So I thank you guys for taking that initiative. My name is Ralph Robles, president of the Douglas Business Network. I'm here to give recognition to the future business leaders of America, known as the FBLA. They are current members of the Douglas Business Network. We're a network of businesses from corporate to entrepreneurs. They really help out the community in different types of events, marketing, promotion, any way we could help out our businesses grow and prosper. That's what I help do and construct within the community. So I met Mr. Lucero about a year ago, and he said he needed help with the FBLA, and he needed his students to, take a hold of different things in the community and really get some responsibility to be entrepreneurs, leadership, and any way that I can help them with, they could learn in any type of business. So we have a project called the Douglas Cares Kids Festival. This was the 5th annual that we did it, and it was me and my brother Arturo Escalante, rest in peace. Today is actually his birthday, and we established this thing 5 years ago. We would raise funds for less fortunate kids in the district, and we would take them shopping to JCPenney's and get them whatever they needed for the winter season. So I brought along Mr. Lucero, and he was able to get a strong team of FBLA members, and we were able this past November, was it? November, to raise $1,400 at our Douglas Cares Kids Festival on the corner of F and 10th Street by the Douglas Realty Group station right there. And we were able to get 17 kids their clothes from Walmart. Walmart helped out as well. We did get some late donations as well, but we were able to give them their clothes, their socks, their underwear, whatever they needed, and an actual gift courtesy of everybody. And then we also got them some Dunkin' Donuts to send them home and some hot chocolate. So it was a big thing for Mr. Lucero to help have these kids established there. They were there. We started a fundraising back in October, I want to say, with a mixer at Blueberry Cafe, and we had one of the presidents, right? The president, Eric, and then Paola. Yeah. Paola. We had those assist us with just registration, signing in, get to meet some of our members at the mixer. And we raised funds right there. We did another one at Cilantros, and our big one was the day of November. And we raised $1,400, able to close 17 students, some from the district, some from Pep Tech, some from CAS. We reach out to everybody who needs help. So I'm here to thank the future business leaders of America with a certificate of recognition. So if we want to give a big round of applause to Mr. Lucero and thank him to get these kids together to help out the community. And we're going to actually offer them another renewal membership free of charge for their assistance with helping with this project. So let's give Mr. Lucero a big round of applause, and we want to recognize the future business leaders of America.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ralph.
So, Future Business Leaders of America is a CTSO at the high school, made up of approximately 35 students who participate in what it is to be an entrepreneur, be a business leader in the community. And I thought it was important that the kids also have a component of giving back to the community. And so I approached Ralph here about if there was some kind of charity or something that we could do to give back to the community so the kids would also have an opportunity to network with different business leaders in the community, and at the same time raise money for the less fortunate students. And it fit perfect. And so we formed this partnership, and it worked out really well. So I'd like to thank you, Ralph, for that opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you
for
so much,
helping out.
and thank you for the report,
Ralph.
taking the time to be here.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Governing board members, reports?
Yeah, Mr. President.
Lindeman.
I would like to say that I really thought the graduation from high school went really well, and I'm glad we could do that after the pandemic years. And I want to thank all those involved in putting that on, and Mrs. Samaniego and staff, of course. The promotion ceremonies from the middle schools went really well, and I appreciated that. Again, congratulations to all the graduates and the promotion students that are now Bulldogs. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Salcho?
I also attended the commencements and at both middle schools and Douglas High School, and the ceremonies were wonderful, absolutely wonderful. But I also attended and was able to attend the honors nights and for Douglas High School and the sports, which was really interesting, and I loved the whole thing. It was great. And seeing how many of our seniors are receiving scholarships and extra help to get to college, and their technical lives even being, going into the military, and their support, that was tremendously wonderful. But also I had a different experience by going to the Student Council Awards and seeing that they give a scholarship as well, and the hard work those students give Douglas High School and our school district. It was tremendous. It was a busy 3 weeks, but it was worth every minute.
Dr. Gomez?
Okay. I want to commend the two gentlemen, Ralph and Mr. Lucero, because several years back, I kind of wanted to do the same thing. So I approached the DHS and I said, I can gather some business leaders and we can have them, have kids that are seniors to go and look at their businesses, how they run their business and stuff like that. Well, it got out of hand because I think the principal wanted to have everybody. Well, that wasn't going to work. So I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing,
Yes.
because very,
It's
very, very
tremendous.
informative to the people, so that they know that if they want to open up a store, they just don't say, I opened up a store, now let it work for me, and it's going to make me money and stuff like that. And that doesn't work that way. So thank you for that. And I also want to thank the administration for the graduation. The thing that impressed me the most, that I liked the most, is when the kids walked, and they walked all the way around the track, and the parents on this side got to see them, the parents on this side got to see them, and then they got to the middle. Thank you so much.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes, just reflecting on what my colleagues just said. It was very, very nice seeing that march coming in from all the students all the way up. It was phenomenal. And also, Mr. Lucero, how important that will be for some of our students as they become adults and they want to go into a small business. Having a head start, knowing what it takes, they can do a better job. I know I started a business myself, and I didn't have the complete education that I needed, but I got enough from high school that I was successful. So it's great you're doing that, and I hope a lot of our students, take advantage of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Obviously, I've seen many, many graduations in my day here and other places, but many here. And that was probably the best. I'm not
Yes.
going to repeat everything that was said here. I think the most important thing to me, other than all the ceremony, is the behavior of our students.
Yeah.
You know, we never have to worry about anybody intervening or stopping the ceremony or any disruptions. And our kids are great. And I also echo what Janice said about those kids going in the armed service. Bless them. You know, that was really kind of heartwarming to see them, and especially to see the recruiter there congratulating
Yes.
them. Especially, these aren't good times to be serving in the military, but we're extremely proud of them as well. So anyway, with that, we'll go to, do we have any other reports by board members? Anybody want to add anything? Reports, year-to-date budget balance and travel report, Mr. Soto.
Mr. President, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. It's my monthly report. This is for the month of May. That was the last month of school. We're still in good shape. We still have one more month to go to close the fiscal year. I don't know if you have a specific question about the report.
Board members?
Yeah, I just have one because, you know, I just like figures.
Me too.
Well, they always make fun of me the way I say figures. So anyway, the 491, you already encumbered that, right?
Correct.
So then the balance then is the 817?
Correct. That's for Title I so far. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, encumbrance means that it's stuff that is already in POs, but it hasn't been paid yet,
Yes.
but it's already encumbered. Yeah.
Is that it, Dr. Gomez?
Yeah, that's it, sorry.
Any other board member questions on the report? Quickly,
There's also
quickly
the
tell us
travel
about the construction, what the schedule looks like, because to me, I probably see that every day, and I don't know how they're ever going to be finished by the time that is determined. But anyway, you want to
Right.
comment on that?
According to the last meeting we had with the architects and Adolfson and Peterson, they're still very confident that they're going to finish by the deadline of fall break. Also, they're pushing and trying to get the cafeteria ready before school starts in August. So that's the main goal right now. So students can use the cafeteria, and then the rest of the buildings will be after that. There's, as you can see if you drive by, there's a lot of metal going up. Right now, during the summer, they're doing 410s. So Fridays, you're probably not going to see a lot of activity, but there's still people working there. Also, again, the invitation is out there still for you guys to, whenever you want to go and visit and walk it. We just need to contact the superintendent there, Ms. Butler, and you're more than welcome to go and visit and walk around.
You said it'd be ready by fall break, and I think that was part of the contract, right?
Correct.
So I'm sure the administration's already got a plan in place for the smooth transition of moving all the things that need to be done, and what classes are going to go in there and determine and so on?
Yeah, we're talking to the HS administration about that, yes.
Okay, members of the board, any other questions regarding Mr. Lynn?
Yeah, I would like to schedule a tour at some earlier,
Okay.
if we can.
Okay, perfect.
Can you set that up for next week with Beth and then contact the board members?
And I did see the crane.
I know that.
Yeah.
Did you
Who
see it,
didn't
Rick?
see the crane?
Did you see it?
Pardon?
The
It
crane.
was shocking,
Like 4 stories
Yeah.
high.
Yeah,
amazing.
Amazing.
for Douglas, right?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's like
It's
we're
like
not
it was
building a
amazing.
high-rise, I mean. But it's
I
amazing.
think the people in Douglas were awed when they saw that fire truck when it was bought. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little Americana there about seeing the elephant. You know, people used to talk about that in the old days. All right. Human resource staffing update and student enrollment. Ms. Cox.
Okay, good afternoon. So our current enrollment is 3,804. We ended May at 3,807, but we are enrolling students on a daily basis.
Okay, good.
So we are enrolling, especially kinder at this point.
Members of the board, any questions regarding human resources enrollment?
No.
Item G, public comments. We have Mr. Nathan Darris wants to address the board.
Thank you. Dear board members and Superintendent Mrs. Samaniego, I am here today to give you guys an end-of-the-year report of the Douglas High School Music Program. On May 11th, we held our first marching clinic with DHS Marching Band, and it went very, very well, having over 45 students in attendance from 8th through 11th grade who learned basic marching techniques on our newly renovated football field. Many students were excited and appreciative to get their fundamentals learned in marching technique, along with commands, posture, and position learned. We also addressed the important elements of band camp, needing such things as water, sunscreen, proper shoes, clothes, and stretching daily. We did also encourage many of our students also to try to attend PPT over the summer. Whether they're an athlete or not, it's also important because we have physical elements also in marching camp. On Friday, May 27th, the band and choir both attended graduation ceremonies, and we had for the first time our high school choir perform a senior song for the festivities. This song was chosen by our current senior class, and the choir had only a total of 3 weeks to learn and practice that to perform. All students did an amazing job performing, and it was great to see so many students stay at the end of the ceremony to recognize all of our seniors and celebrate their accomplishments. On Tuesday, May 31st, we held our first leadership training with our marching band at Douglas High School. All students in attendance received our marching band handbook that we created, and we did various fun games and activities to learn how to be a great leader for the marching program. We also invested time in planning our marching band camp. They'll be held at Paul Huber Middle School July 13th through July 22nd on their soccer field. Reasons for using this facility are due to no practice field currently, along with flexibility to the football team and practicing on the new field. I'd like to thank the board members for approving our past volunteers who also helped this school year. We had Jose Durazo, who has done a great job in band clinics held. Steve Barton also has done an amazing job in coming in and working with my choir students from Cochise College. Jeff Despain also went. I also want to thank too, who also bring down his EAC chorale and his band program to perform for all of our 5th through 8th graders in district. He is also writing our drill currently and for our next show, which is entitled Masquerade. A big thank you also to Dean Hewish, who donated earlier in the year to help purchase this music for our school year's show. Cochise College's choirs has had 2 Douglas High School students enrolled for their upcoming fall semester, which is encouraging to hear. I'm uncertain of our band or choir enrollment at this time, but based upon our clinics, I can probably estimate about 50 to 60 kids in band and hopefully 20 kids for choir next year. I also wanted to mention that we also had previous members rejoin band this year. We had 4 of them, and we lost 2 students only to band this year, but they said they want to come back next year, which is encouraging. Due to the various crazy scheduling this year and COVID, I appreciate all the hard work seen and heard, and none of what was done could be possible without every single one involved. So thanks again to all the parents, staff, administrators, board members, superintendents, and especially students to do what we did. We have a schedule finalized for the new school year and are doing our best to provide as many opportunities as we can to continue to grow our music program as a whole for Douglas High School. Thanks again for your time and consideration, Mr. Garris.
Thank you. And then, yeah, very deserved. Did you get new band uniforms?
We're in the process of getting them right now, yeah.
I approved them.
She approved them, but
Okay.
Melissa hasn't gone to the company, so I don't know if I need to come in with Anna and say, hey, what do we need to do next? But I know you guys are working on it with your next board meeting, so once that gets fully approved, we'll go to the next steps and make sure we have everything done.
Yes.
We already have all the fittings done, so we have fittings for every single student. We got that done at our clinic. That was part of what we needed to get done.
Okay, thank you. We're very
Yeah.
proud of that program.
Yes.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you.
Worked really hard.
Go ahead.
Just to help Mr. Ramos out from the chair.
Sí, yo. Ve con él a ver si está bien. Nomás para que no se caiga.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on consent agenda item 2, approval of the following consent agenda items. A1, the entertain a motion for the payroll and expense voucher reports as listed.
I move to approve.
I second.
Second by Ms. Salchow. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Bering?
Yes. Item 3, action items, discussion action on approval of certified hires. Ms. Samaniego.
And before we move on to the rest of the action items, I want to inform the board that we are removing letter I from the agenda altogether, okay? So before we go on, letter I will not be discussed.
Well, let's take a look at it.
Okay. It's approval of a volunteer, so we're just removing that item. Okay, so action item A is as presented. These are certified hires, some for the upcoming school year, some summer school teachers, and that is about it.
Members of the board, any questions regarding that? Let's get a motion on the floor. Mr. Lindemann.
I move to approve.
Second
Second.
by Ms. Salchow. Discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Bering?
Yes. Item B, discussion action on approval of classified hires. Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, you see some campus security that are going to be hired for the next upcoming school year. We're just approving them now, some summer school instructional aides and an admin assistant.
Are any of those additional, or is that just filling vacancies?
It's some additional and filling some vacancies for the new hires, filling vacancies, yes.
Filling
Uh-huh,
vacancies?
yes.
Entertain a motion to approve?
I move to approve the
By Mr.
classified hires.
Lindemann. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Salchow. Discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Bering?
Yes. Item C, discussion action on the approval of athletic hires. Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, you have all the background information there. Assistant football coach, we have two of them, head boys soccer coach and head volleyball coach being presented for hire.
Entertain a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
By Mr. Lindemann. Second?
Second.
By Dr. Gomez. Discussion, board members.
I have a question.
Dr. Gomez.
The head boys soccer coach, is that the same one from last year?
Yes, it is, uh-huh.
Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Bering?
Yes. Item D, discussion action on the approval of athletic addendums. Ms. Samaniego.
And all of these are for our summer peak performance program taking place at Douglas High School for DHS students. So as presented.
Before we get a motion on the floor, did the board members have an opportunity to review the salaries and all of the information that was there as backup on those? Entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve the athletic addendums.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Discussion.
Approximately how many students, just curious, attend the peak performance?
They had approximately 100.
What was that? You can answer, Denise.
They had approximately 100 at the beginning of
Okay,
when it
good.
started.
Nice. Okay, that's all. The only question I have.
Is that, that's 100 for a day or 100 total?
That was in a day.
100 a day?
In a day.
Okay, is that sufficient information for you, Ms. Salchow?
Yes, it is.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor.
Yes, sir.
Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes. You can ask him.
Mr. Ramos? Mr. Bering?
Yes.
I don't know what I'm voting on.
Just vote
I
yes.
just say yes.
It was to give the board a raise. You want to vote?
Yeah, right.
Item E, discussion action on the approval of certified retirement. Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, and this is a revised retirement letter from Ms. Susie Cantua, changing her new date to August 1st, 22, and retiring after 22 years.
Entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
Mr. Lindemann, second.
Second.
By Dr. Gomez. Discussion. Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann,
Yes.
Dr. Gomez,
Yes.
Mr. Ramos,
Yes.
Mr. Berry.
Yes. Item F, discussion action on the approval of classified resignations and retirement. Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, there's only one retirement, and Ms. Dolores Newman has been a longtime employee of our BMS, and we want to wish her well, and everybody else's resignation. Ramirez, I'm sorry, Dolores Ramirez.
Motion to approve
I move to approve.
by Mr. Lindemann. Second
Second.
by Ms. Salchow. Discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salcha,
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann,
Yes.
Dr. Gomez,
Yes.
Mr. Ramos,
Yes.
Mr. Berry.
Item G, yes. Item G, discussion action on the approval of dismissal of at-will employees due to job performance and excessive absences. Ms. Samaniego.
Yes, as presented, and you have the background information there, and so we are not going to be issuing a wage notice for these employees, so as presented.
Entertain a motion to approve
Move to approve.
by Mr. Lindemann. Second
Second.
by Ms. Salchow. Discussion? Dr. Gomez, do you have a question? Roll call.
Ms. Salcha,
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann,
Yes.
Dr. Gomez,
Yes.
Mr. Ramos,
Yes.
Mr. Berry.
Yes. Item H, discussion action on the approval of classified transfers. Ms. Samaniego.
And this is as presented. These are current employees moving into a different position. You have the salary increase there for your reference. And so this is filling vacancies in the district.
Entertain a motion to
I
approve
move to approve.
by Mr. Lindemann. Second,
Second.
Mr. Ramos. Discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salcha,
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann,
Yes.
Dr. Gomez,
Yes.
Mr. Ramos,
Yes.
Mr. Berry.
Yes. You've removed item
Aye. And so before we go on, we'd like to welcome any new hires to our organization. If you want to come up and introduce yourself, if you are being hired in a new position or transferring over to a new position.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. My name is Alberto Andrade. I was hired for a security officer at Douglas High School, and I'm happy and blessed to be on this team, so appreciate it. Thank
Welcome, Alberto. Alberto, right?
you. Right, correct.
I haven't seen you since you were a little one.
I know. I'm like going, I know you.
Welcome.
That's the least thing you
He was a young kid when I knew him, so welcome to DUSD.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And you've got information on his background there, right?
Yes, yes.
Hi, my name is Yael Sainz, and I was also be working as security for Douglas High School. Thank you for the opportunity, and I'm looking forward to working along you guys.
Thank you, Idekel, and welcome. And very glad we found also another female security officer for Douglas High School, which is very much needed. Anybody else? I think that's it. And you don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting, but you're welcome to. Okay, so we're on J.
I think that's a strong suggestion to leave. That's,
You
that's
can
why
stay.
that's why you're boss.
Yes.
Item J, discussion information only for classified internal transfers. Ms. Samaniego.
And this is information only. Maritza Reyes moving from CFPD to data clerk at New Student Center. Maria Noriega from campus security, RBMS back to an instructional aid position and no change in pay.
That's the reason for information
Yes,
only?
uh-huh.
No change in
Yes.
pay? Item K, discussion action on the approval of donations received for the Douglas Unified School District number
Yes.
27. Ms. Samaniego.
Always, again, appreciative of all our donations. We have $150 being donated from Cochise College Liberal Arts to Douglas High School Folklorico Dance Club. Donation of $199.82 from Reading for Education, schoolstore.com to Clausen Elementary. Donation of decorations and flower arrangements from K Events for Douglas High School Prom, estimated value of $1,210. Also donation of driveline plyo balls from Mr. Jose Higuera to Douglas High School Baseball, estimated value of $80, and $260 from Ms. Lupita Morales to High School Drama Club. So thank you very much for those donations.
Let's get the motion on the floor.
I move
for
to
discussion.
approve.
By Mr. Lindemann. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Ramos. Discussion? Are any of those vendors? The K Events is not a vendor?
K Events is a local flower shop. It's a local flower shop. They're donating to the high school prom, their flower arrangements and decorations.
Does the district buy anything from them? Are they part of any purchases
I
you've
don't
made?
remember
It
purchasing
doesn't,
anything.
anything, I've never seen anything being purchased from K Events, from the district.
We have a motion on the floor.
Yes, sir.
Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes. I'm going to suggest that you look into that.
Okay,
Okay?
all right.
Just,
Will do.
just to be on, just to be
Safe.
on the safe side.
Okay.
All right. Item L, discussion action on the approval of the following job description. Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, we have brought forth a revised job description for Executive Secretary to the Superintendent and Governing Board with the specifications there on the job description that you've seen highlighted in red, which are all the changes being proposed, and if approved, then we will make it all and clean it up and have it in our file of our job descriptions.
Can you get a motion on the floor to approve?
I move to approve.
By Mr. Lindman, is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Board members, I think you had plenty of time to look at that job description. You can see what it entailed, the modification, the revision of duties and that additional responsibility. Any questions regarding that? Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes, item N, discussion action on the approval of increase in pay. That's a little confusing. Increase in pay.
Well, what you are doing is, the first bullet point there is an increase in pay. He's not moving into a different position, but adding additional duties as a CDL instructor for our school district, so he will be able to provide that driving certification for bus drivers and can also do it for other school districts for a small nominal fee. And then the increase in pay due to the job description revision to the executive secretary to the superintendent.
Let's get a motion on the floor. Mr.
I move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Discussion, board members? I think it's a good idea to have that CDL driver and also the instruction. How are you going to fiscally handle that, Mr. Soto, when, say, Sierra Vista sends people down here, the money goes to the district?
Correct.
And
Invoice.
not to the instructor?
Not to the instructor.
And
correct. It's for
you've
the
already
district.
cleared that legally with Jessica and with the...
Yeah, well, when we do, and it'll be an invoice paid to
Okay.
the district. Uh-huh.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor?
Yes, sir.
Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes. Item N, discussion action on the approval of continuing investment resolution with Cochise County Treasurer's Office. Mr. Soto.
Yes, Mr. President, this is something we do every year that we have to approve. We have, as everybody know, we have the county doing all that for us. We cannot just independently just deal with our own money. So it's just a yearly agreement that we have with Cochise County.
It's actually a resolution, right?
It's a resolution, yes.
Okay, so I'll entertain the motion to approve the resolution.
I move to approve the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Selchow. Any discussion, board
I
members?
just want to ask,
Go ahead.
Cesar, all the districts use the same,
Not necessarily. There's bigger districts that deal with their own finances directly. We're governed by the county because of our size mainly. We do have the opportunity, if we want to in the future, to become independent, but we like it this way because we use them also as a reference and as a balance. They balance, we balance, and it's easier for us to work that way.
thinking yes. That's all.
Any other questions, board members? Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes, item O, discussion action on the approval of renewal for sole source providers for fiscal year 2022-23. Mr. Soto.
Again, Mr. President, this is something we do every year, and this is mostly these vendors are utilities and people, companies that we deal with that we cannot do with other ones because they don't offer the same product or the same services to us.
I don't see them here, I don't think.
They're right
Yeah.
there.
You don't have the documentation
It's
to
right
back
there.
up on the required background information? You
Yeah,
do have
it's
that?
there.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
right
sir.
there, on your background information.
You just scroll up.
Oh, okay, I got
Yeah.
it. All right, good. Members of the board, any questions, comments? We have a motion on the floor.
No, sir.
I move to approve.
Second.
Second by Mr. Ramos. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes, item P, discussion action on the approval of renewal of multi-year contracts for fiscal year 2022, 2023. Mr. Soto.
Again, we do this every year, and these are for services or for RFPs that we send out and we award for 3 or 5 years. We have the option to do that. As you can see, the only two we have is for audit services and for the unleaded gas and diesel. Those are the only two we have so far.
Entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Ramos. Discussion, board members. You
One
need any
question.
further explanation? Go ahead, Dr. Gomez.
Okay. On the audit services, are they the ones that did the audit last year?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes. Item Q, discussion action pursuant to policy BGF to temporarily suspend policy BGB, requiring 2 readings of the proposed policies prior to approval of the adoption in order to approve the below policy and exhibits immediately upon first reading. Ms. Samaniego.
So as presented, normally we have the 2 readings, so this would allow us to just do that 1 reading and get these approved. We have BEDBA, Agenda Preparation and Dissemination, Exhibit BEDBEA-EA, Agenda Preparation Dissemination, Request for Future Non-Routine Agenda Items, and a couple changes on the exhibit under open enrollment application.
Entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
By Mr. Lindemann. Second.
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes. Item R, discussion action on the approval of the school year 2023 Douglas Unified School District Community Use of School Facilities, Policy KF-EB, with the exhibit form. Mr. Soto.
Again, it's one of those yearly things that we have to approve. I'm recommending just to keep the same as last year with those
Same
the
prices.
same prices. Yes.
Explain a little bit what that is, just for informational, what you're doing there when you talk about community use of the property.
When somebody from the outside of the organization wants to use our facilities, they need to fill out this form and also provide us with insurance liability, where it's going to cover us and them in case something happens. As you know, most of the things that we lend is the basketball gyms, sometimes classrooms needed, and the auditorium of the high school are the most commonly used facilities for the district. So again, it's just I just need to make sure that they have that documentation just to cover us and them in case something happens.
And also for any vendor that wants to come into, campus and utilize our facilities to do any type of sales, this is one of the forms that they have to use, because we cannot have anybody just coming onto a school property and selling things on their own.
Well, that's a little different.
Yes, it's a little different, but they would have to use also if they're going to be using our school facilities form for any other purpose, you also request them to fill this out, and then let's say it wouldn't be a fee, but it would be a vendor situation.
They still need to provide with liability.
Liability insurance, yes.
Okay. The important thing too there is, Mr. Soto, is that this policy very specifically outlines that the district is never in competition with any local
Correct.
business. Because a lot of times, they'll come here and get something free. It has been done in the past, and it happens everywhere, where a local vendor might have the same supplies or types of wares that and we just can't, we don't want to compete with them. We don't want to compete with, so that's important. All right, we have a motion on the floor.
No, sir.
Entertain a motion.
I move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Dr. Gomez. Any discussion? Dr.
Yes,
Gomez?
I wanted to ask a question. Is there a minimum liability that you have?
1 million.
1 million?
Correct.
Okay.
Mr. President, I had a quick question on this item. Is this something that's administratively approved once this is in place?
Yes, sir.
By
Okay,
Mr.
thank you.
Soto.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll call.
Ms. Felcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes,
Mr. Burry?
Yes. Item S, discussion action on the approval of loyalty pay program for certified and classified employees. Ms. Samaniego, you going to do that, or is Mr. Soto?
I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Cox, and
Okay.
Mr. Soto can chime in. But the bulk of, or the important piece of this is that we're really trying to do something for our employees and demonstrate our appreciation. Just for background information, you need to be a 21st year employee in the district in order to get that longevity pay. And then the next bump up is at 26 years. And so it's a long time for an employee to wait to have that little extra monetary compensation. So this is what the salary committees have proposed, and I'll turn it over to Mrs. Cox.
So back at the beginning of the year, Mrs. Samaniego asked that we form a salary committee made up of different members. So we have a certified committee and a classified committee. And so we've discussed in length different things, that it's a 5-year plan. So it's a strategic 5-year plan. This is our proposal for year 1. And we have Corey Moen, who is going to represent both certified and classified, to talk about longevity, or what we call longevity, we would like to change to loyalty pay, as Mrs. Samaniego just mentioned. So is that okay if Corey presents?
Sure.
Okay.
Corey, come on up.
Good afternoon, Board President and members. I'm not sure if you see the PowerPoint in front of you.
Turn on the monitor.
Our monitor is not even on.
Yep.
Right on the corner? The
On
bottom?
the bottom. Bottom corner.
Oh, here it is. Got it. All right.
Do you have it, Mr. Lee?
Yeah, it's on.
So the salary committee, thanks to Martha Alonso to putting together the presentation for us, but our salary committee consisted of both the certified and classified committee. We had members from all different, representing both principals, teachers in the certified and the classified. We had several classified members, all part of the committees. As you can probably see their names. I don't see the PowerPoint, so I'm not sure what you guys are seeing.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Peter.
No?
No.
Third one? Okay. So those are all our members. There's some people, some of our members here at the board meeting if you have questions for them too, and they can help out with any questions. We were also supported by Ms. Cox, Mr. Soto. Martha Alonso was representing the DEA, Ms. Quinones, Ms. Ortega, Ana Karen, and Edith were all part of it as part of Human Resource and HR. Can you?
Next, Peter.
Next, Peter. So the purpose and mission of both committees was to improve DUSD employee morale by considering pay, recognition, and communication. So our goals, as you can see, both our goals were, we have very similar goals between the certified and the classified committee. We want to start looking at salaries, steps, not so much step, looking at salaries so we can differentiate between the new employees and loyal employees to the districts. We're also looking at continued education and credential salary steps to help our teachers and our certified as they move on through their education, as well as looking at evaluation-driven raises for our classified committee. So we're very similar in our goals. One goal that we are both presenting today is the recognition of employee loyalty via a plan that would start at 5 consecutive years of employment instead of 21 years, which is what we consider our longevity. We would recognize employees from higher date even if they move positions within the district. So it didn't matter if you started off as an instructional aide and moved to teacher and moved on to principal. As long as you were part of the district, we would like to recognize your loyalty. So the definitions that we are using is loyalty pay and restorative pay. The loyalty program would recognize all employees equally for their consecutive years served without differentiating between positions. And then the restorative pay seeks to significantly differentiate between incoming first-year employees and loyal employees due to collapse of salaries in prior years. So the next couple slides it's kind of a breakdown of how many employees we have. The first one is classified and how long they've been with our district. If you notice, between 1 and 5 years, we have about 131 employees. Between 6 and 10, we have 67 employees. And between 11 and 15, we have 31 employees. But the current longevity doesn't actually start till 21 years, but we have all these employees who have been with us consecutively that we'd like to also honor them as well. The next slide will show the certified employees. So we have about 72 in the first 5 years. We have 42 between 6 and 10 years. And 11 through 15, we actually have 32 employees who have been here between 11 and 15 years. Okay. So when we got together, we wanted to make sure that the classified and the certified were similar in how we were going to honor all our employees. It didn't matter if you were classified or certified. So we looked at different amounts, and we wanted to recognize them at 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and possibly 30 years. Right now it's 21, 26, so these would be after the 5th year, after the 10th year is when the steps would actually occur. The option 1 has the total amounts. It would be for classified and certified, and that goes up to 30 years for the district. And then option 2 is what we currently use, and with the cap amount after 25 years in the district. So any questions so far?
Members of the board, do you have any questions so far?
No.
Go ahead, Dr.
The pays that you have here on the agenda, now that's per year? Like, for example, it says year 21, $1,500. It would be every year?
Yes, after
Correct.
your 21st year, yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So the next one is the restorative pay and eligibility. This is one of the propositions that the classified is part of what they're requesting, is that minimum wage began to increase in 2017 at a higher rate, and then what could we, I'm sorry. So they wanted to look at how we could support those employees who have been with us since before 2017 and help fix that gap. So the restorative pay is the classified hired employees before July 2017 are eligible, and the current proposal is 10 cents per consecutive years working in the district to be distributed over the next 4 years. And Mr. Soto can explain that more in detail, if you have any questions about that.
Go ahead, and why don't you finish?
Okay,
And then
so-
when we come back, we'll
Have him break down the numbers. So the
Sure,
yearly
go.
cost is about $83,000, and the total cost to the district is about $377,000. The certified is also looking for the same restorative pay. That is our year 2 proposal. Is we are going to start looking at teachers who that got collapsed when we had all the raises in their base salary. So we have some certified members who are new to the district, making almost equal to people who have been here at the district for 10 to 11 years. So we're looking at how to make the distinction between those for those employees that have been loyal to the district. And that is our year 2 plan for the certified, is to look at how we can fix those collapses. Okay. Are there any questions?
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay. Members of the board, do you have any questions so far, but before we call on Mr. Soto for a clarification on the finances? All right, there were 2 options, right?
The second option is the other item next to this one.
Right.
So we're going to talk about the 10 cents.
Okay.
after
Yeah,
this
So right
one.
now, it's this first one.
Okay, thanks, Corey.
Yes.
Yeah, we may call you back up here. All right. But, and thanks for all you do with that. Mr. Soto, talk a little bit about the money.
And like Corey was talking about, this is an effort to kind of fix those collapses. Well, that's
about
the 10
us
cents.
first. Talk about us
We're going
first.
to talk longevity. And again, this is, we thought, and I'm going to talk, me including on the committee, that it will be fair to start giving this loyalty after the 5th year of service with the district instead of waiting up to 21. That way it's a little bit of a morale for the employees, or it's something that they can look forward to. Granted, it's not a huge amount, but at least it's something that you be looking up to get. And like she said, I mean, the cost to the district will be roughly $205,000 a year, and that's something that will be sustainable, obviously going forward. And obviously in the future, if needed, then we can come back again. The goal of these committees is like a 5-year plan, and see how we understand that money is not always the best solution, or that employees are looking forward. But I mean, it's a good thing. It helps. And I also understand that might not be a lot, but it's the right movement. It's the right, going in the right direction from now on, especially for those people that have been with us for many years, and at least this is some kind of reward to their loyalty to us for that, for this time. And again, that's what we're recommending from now on, starting with this coming new school year, 2023. All of the employees that have served to the district for starting their 6th year, they get $250 longevity/loyalty addendum or stipend. After starting the year 11 will be $500. Year 16 will be $1,000. Year 21, $1,500. And 26, $25. If you notice, the 21st and 26 years is the same ones we already had. So basically, we're just adding these other 3 levels where employees can, and like Dr. Gomez asked, this is something that they're going to get every year.
Sustainable.
Sustainable. So.
For a total cost of?
For a total cost of $205,000
A year.
a year. Correct.
And so, board members, if I just might, just sustainability, number one.
Correct.
Okay, and then the funding comes from whatever the grant happens to be as well?
Whatever the employee is being paid from, correct.
So whatever the funding source is, you'll be able
The
to.
funding source, correct.
Members of the board, questions? Mr. Lennon?
Mr. President, Mr. Soto,
Yes.
bearing in mind that we're dealing with all taxpayer money, and we want to do as much as we can for the employees, of course, we've always felt that way.
Right.
But we must be prudent also, you know, and not, I don't know, what's the word, squander it away or something like that.
Right.
And you did mention that it's not always, oftentimes, money that, you know, would be rewarding. And that brings my mind to, we're talking about the city budget, and, you know, we're discussing whether we're going to pay 60% of family coverage. And I think that's a wonderful benefit for the city side. Do we ever think of those things for the school side?
Percent of medical insurance? or
Yeah,
what?
health insurance.
I mean, the district pays 100% for the
Each.
employee.
Right, but,
Uh-huh.
but the city is going to pay 60% of the family.
Oh,
So,
the
All
family.
employees.
yeah,
I see.
we're in discussions with that now. So I think that's a wonderful benefit. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, that's something to look into, yeah.
I just wanted to mention, I totally agree with Mr. Linderman, but we also have been very behind on the pay to our teachers. You know, it's sad to be one of the lowest districts in being able to pay their teachers the amount that we pay them, you know, and our staff, you know. But yes, we do have to be prudent, but as long as we can find a way to do it without getting into trouble. I just wanted to say that.
Well, you know, the attitude of the board has always been, and we keep saying it, is that we want to do everything. I'd recommend we do this. I mean, it's a pittance, really, when you think of how much it is. But it's still something, and if it helps anybody for however much it is or however much it helps them, you know, we feel good about it. If there was something else to come before the board, and he can sustain it, and it's being prudent, Mr. Lindeman, if we can, we should always do it. And I'm a strong proponent of that, and I know you people are too. So I think without hesitation, I mean, I don't want to say it's a modicum of but if they present it and they want it, and they took all the time to go through it, not that you reward them because they spend a lot of time, but I mean for the amount, I think it's a no-brainer that we should do it. Mrs. Selchow.
I know as a teacher, I was really excited when I hit that 20-year, that I could earn a little extra for staying with the district for so long when so many of my counterparts left. And so I think that we need to reward people for staying, and it's that, build that loyalty.
Yeah.
So,
Dr.
Very
Gomez.
well said.
Dr. Gomez.
Oh, no, I think this is very much needed because, and I'm talking now about classified, that's not the teachers, the other side, right? Classified. So anyway, in that the state keeps going up and up for minimum wage, so anybody that was hired 2 years ago is not gonna earn as much as the guy that's coming in now because of the disparity in the minimum wage. And so I think this is a great idea.
Anybody else, members of the board? Anything you want to add administratively?
And just if I may, Mr. President, I don't think Corey touched on this, but in the past, certified people will get more money for longevity. It was $2,500 and $1,500, and classified was $1,500 and $1,000. So now we're matching the same because time is time, and you're serving the district no matter what position you're serving. But now it's the same amount for everybody, certified and classified.
Okay, Ms. Samaniego, do you have anything else you want to add to that? Unless
No.
I would recommend that
Yes.
you or Mr. Soto, so there's no ambiguity as to exactly what we're doing, if you would state how you want this to be enacted, so that we'll put that in terms of a motion.
Okay.
So whoever wants to give us the proper
All right.
language for that.
Okay, so what we're recommending is that the board approve the following proposal, considered to be loyal to pay in the following years of service. Year 6 at $250, year 11, $500, year 16, $1,000, year 21, $1,500, year 26, $2,500 for all classified and certified employees that would qualify under the loyalty pay for a total cost of about $205,000.
And to be an ongoing.
Going, yes, and
And to
sustainable.
be an annual.
Yes, and part of the new salary schedule.
Mr. Lindeman, will you make that motion?
Yes, I move to approve the superintendent's recommendation on the loyalty program.
Second.
Second by Mr. Ramos. Any discussion, board members? And just, yes, go ahead.
No, just a clarification that in the special board meeting we're going to have on the 24th, we're going to present the new salary schedules that are going to reflect this new loyalty
Wording in there.
basis, wording in there.
Okay. Roll call.
Ms. Elcha?
yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes?
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Bereen?
Yes, item U, discussion action on the approval of renewal of.
T, I'm sorry.
T,
We were
that's
on
the other
S.
part of. the
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, the
Yes.
second part of
Uh-huh.
that. That's right, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead. Alan.
So I'm going to start it and then basically turn it over to Mr. Seto because Mrs. Moen covered on the presentation. So what the second part of this five-year plan is, it's still part of year one for my five-year strategic plan on salaries. And what we're recommending is a classified committee restorative pay. This is only for classified staff at the moment. And so the reason why is due to the fact that salary, base salary or minimum wage salaries have gone up over the last, several years, collapsing some of our employees. And so an example is that you have a food service employee of 23 years, for example, making the same as a third-year food service employee due to that collapse. And unfortunately, I will say it now that what we're trying to do now does not mean that it's going to forever fix our salaries, because what's a matter of fact? The minimum wage is going to continue increasing at a rate that we have no control of, right? And so that is a fact. And so what we're going to try to do now is establish some groundwork here for the employees that are currently employed in the district, so that there is at least a minimum of difference in pay between that 23rd year employee and that fourth year employee. And Mr. Soto will present the figures.
Just to add to what Mrs. Samaniego said, the committee decided that, of course, looking at this current situation with our employees and the situation It's going to continue, yes. We don't know, at this point, we don't even know what the state is going to tell us what the minimum wage is going to be in January. So again, I'm just being conservative and trying to, but going back to this and trying to fix the employees we currently have. And the committee decided that people that were hired before July 2017 are eligible for that. And that's when the salary schedule started to collapse. So employees that are going to start their 6th year, let's just say with us, they're going to start with this restored pay, which means that it's going to be up to 10 cents, but what we're recommending is a 2.5 cents per year served to the district increase on the hourly rate. So starting with the 6th year, then we're going to start adding this additional monies to their hourly rate. The proposal is to, if possible, and that we can do it in 4 consecutive years. This is I'm just going to call it that we're going to freeze this list of employees that we have. So the longevity is separate in loyalty because if you're serving to the district, you're eventually going to get that 250 or 500 and one. But the restorative pay is just for the people that are starting with the 6th year, and we're going to keep that list. That list is not going to change with the years. So if you're with the 6th and up, then we're going to give you the 2.5 cents per year for potentially 4 years. Again, it's when you talk about being 2.5 cents an hour, it's just doesn't seem like much. But again, the goal is to do it in 4 years. To at least every employee will have 10 years, 10 cents times the number of years they have worked with the district. So that eventually, we're going to create a little bit of a difference between, like Mr. Samaniego said, employees that have been with us 22 years compared with the brand new ones coming in. The cost of doing this, it's going to affect approximately a total of 165 employees. It is costing $83,000 a year. And again, this is the one that we talk on in the committee. The goal is to do it for 4 years, depending on monies. I mean, if we have enough money, then we're going to continue with this. I'm pretty confident that we're going to have enough to cover this and fix. Addressing a little bit to the minimum wage, what we've been doing in the past is if the minimum wage increases $1, then we have increased our salary schedule $1, and that's what's creating that collapse. I'm going to go collapse, but everybody's frozen at that point. So what we're trying to do now is just instead of we're going to the board already approved giving $1 to classified employees for this coming year. But the salary schedule that is going to be recommended in the next board meeting is only going to be a 75-cent increase. So right off the bat, you're going to have a difference of 25 cents an hour between a 2 or 3 year old employee and the brand new one coming in. That way we don't have to go back again in a few more years and say, oh, by the way, now we need to fix it again because we have the same situation. So that's basically what we're trying to do here. Any specific
Members
questions?
of the board. Mr.
A
Ramos.
little explanation on the curve that you're going to, what was it?
2.5 cents an hour.
On the hour.
Explain a little bit about the curve there. How's that going to work?
Like, let's just say you've been with us 6 years. So this coming year.
And you're making 13.05, let's say. Start with that.
13.05. So you're going to get an increase of 0.15 or 15 cents an hour more
This year.
this coming year.
Okay.
Next year.
And then you're going to get another 15 cents the following year, and another 15 cents the following year, and another 15 cents the following year.
In addition.
In addition to
Right.
what
In addition
what
to
your
whatever the
hourly
board
rate is.
decides.
Correct. Whatever the board decides. If the board decides, now we're going to give 50 cents increase to all classified, and then on top of that, you're going to get
They're
that
gonna get
15
the
cents.
15 cents. Okay.
Correct. Correct.
Other questions, members of the board?
I think I got
Mr.
you.
Lindemann?
Is that sustainable also?
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Ms. Salchow, any questions?
When you met with the committee, did classified meet separately than certified?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I'm sorry, what was your question?
Did the classified and certified meet together for the salary schedule or for
You
this?
said
They're
yes.
separate.
And restorative, who will be deciding the factor of who gets what?
We have the list of the
You have the
employees
list.
when they were hired
Okay.
to now.
It's all
so
based on,
We determine the number.
So
of
there's
years
no
that-
guessing and
Yes.
trying to put
No.
people where?
no, this
No.
this is not second guessing anybody. It is all factual, depending on their hire date, which is obviously recorded by Visions and double checked and cross-referenced and triple checked with HR to make sure. I mean, Cesar and the committee has done a lot of work. HR has been very involved in providing salary scales, amounts, hire dates, positions. So I'm very confident in their recommendation to me.
So, everything that you know and you're following with all of the information you get daily from ASBO and the legislative reporting that you get, with all of the different variations of bills that are being considered, not only now, but in the future about funding for schools, would any of that in your mind, knowing the numbers, would it vitiate anything according to what you're recommending here, that if it comes back later and you say, ooh, we can't do that because it's been adversely affected because of the funding from the state? That's important, and I think.
Correct.
I think that the board needs to know that.
Yeah, I've done these calculations and these projections based on the funding we currently have. I'm not thinking about the new monies coming in or
Less.
what next year's gonna look like or whatever. Luckily, at this point, we've never been cut or we've never been told, hey, by the way, now this year I'm gonna give you less money to work with. I mean, it's been, at least we get that 2% increase every year from the state. And that's what I'm utilizing as a reference, saying, okay, if at least we're gonna get that 2% minimum depending on inflation, but that's the maximum they can give us regardless. So that's what I'm projecting, or the numbers I'm using to do this. I'm confident that we're gonna have still that same funding that we can cover all of this.
Okay, but
for employees.
just a side note too, you know that they're revisiting the cap again, right?
Yes.
So that's not a done deal again, so that's back on the table.
The aggregate
And
and all that.
we could be looking at that again. So then you feel comfortable about doing this? I know the board will do it if you guys recommend it and you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
All right, do you need another motion?
No, and I will add to that, as we all know, in the way school budget works, is even in some positions, if the funding is not there or the budget gets cut, we come back to the board and say, at this time, this is our current situation, and we cannot do A, B, and C, or D, or we have to cut this position because the funding is not there. So that is always, it's part of our contracts, that if the budget gets cut, then we have to look at, second plans.
Well, of course,
Yes,
but we wouldn't want
yes,
to
we
go
wouldn't-
into it.
No, we wouldn't want to go there, but that would be
Yeah.
in extreme cases that things change drastically in the state, and all of a sudden they say we're cutting, a student budget by, or district budgets by a certain percentage.
Yeah. And another clarification, Mr. President, and this is just the classified side. I know
We're not
the
touching-
certified committee is still gonna meet and see
Year
what the
two.
plan is gonna be to address the same situation where it's the same thing. Where our base salary, it was really close to second, third, four-year teachers. They're very close to what the new ones, because if you remember, when we were adopting new base salaries to be more competitive and attracting teachers, then we were kind of collapsing. I'm going to call that collapsing to the other teachers. So again, we're going to come back for sure next year to do a recommendation, and it doesn't have to be next year. And like I've been telling the salary committees, we're going to keep talking, and if there's any way that there's monies within the budget and we can implement it during the year, it can be done, then we will recommend it at that point. But if not, then we're going to wait until next year and say, now we already have the plan for classified, this is starting for the certified employees also.
Members of the board, anything in finality here that you want to add?
Well, I do.
Dr. Gomez.
And I think Ana made a good point. In other words, you don't want to talk and say we have less money, But the thing of it is, it has to be out there, you know, and the possibilities.
Right. Right. Especially, and I know I repeat it all the time, but especially, it's so unpredictable about what's going to happen at the legislature. So we always have to be aware of that. Okay, are we done with that?
Yes.
Okay,
So that would be
Does the motion-
you need to make a motion.
We need a motion.
Well, I asked you a minute ago if you needed a motion on it. What motion do you need?
Well, it's to approve the classified pay increase of 10 cents over the next 4-year span.
And that's exactly the way you want it?
Yes.
All right.
I'll move to approve the superintendent's recommendation.
Second,
Second.
by Mr. Ramos. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes. Item U, discussion action on the approval or renewal of the employee staffing agreement between Douglas Unified School District Number 27 and Educational Service, Inc., ESI, for fiscal year 2022-2023. Ms. Amanu.
Okay. And this is bringing again our ESI staffing agreement that would be renewed for 1 year. And this will allow us to continue partnering with them and bringing retired teachers, which is very much needed in the district.
Entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Mr. Lindemann, second.
Second.
Ms. Salchow. Discussion? And of course, it always merits saying that any hires done under this program doesn't take away a position from an aspiring young person who's looking for a job, and we keep these people that have been here forever on and on and on, you know, they've got to move on. So basically, and the premise is always that the board doesn't want classified. contractors.
Yes, and they're
Okay.
not.
All right, any further discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes, item V, discussion information only on ESI hires for school year 2022-2023. Ms. Samaniego.
And this is just for information purpose only. Again, now that the ESI is approved, Mr. Young and Mr. Ross are coming back as ESI employees working for working at DUSD. And that's it.
Any questions or comments regarding that, members of the board? Item W, discussion action on the approval of the renewal agreement for internship, externship, educational experience between Douglas Unified School District Number 27 and the Chiricahua Clinic.
And this is a 3-year renewal agreement, and it will allow an internship experience for some of our high school students through Chiricahua.
You saw the background information on that, board members? Entertain a motion, Mr. Lindland.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Ramos. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes. We're running out of alphabet here. X, item X, discussion action on the approval of the renewal agreement for internship, externship, educational experience between Douglas Unified School District Number 27 and the City of Douglas Fire Department, paramedics/rescue, and the Police Department, Animal Control. Ms. Samaniego.
Very much the same, a 3-year renewal, which will allow our Douglas High School students to have some internship, externship educational experiences at these institutions.
Entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
Second.
I don't think you've got a problem there, Mr.
I
Lindemann.
don't believe
No,
I
not
I
at all,
need to.
because you're not directly, whatever, we
Right,
won't
I'm
even
not-
get into it.
yeah.
Discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes. Request for future agenda items, members of the board? B, announcements. Ms. Samaniego.
Just for your information, Mr. Ramos and our executive secretary will be attending the ASBA summer conference on Thursday, so Alma will not be here and attending with Mr. Ramos. And our next Independence Day, Monday, July 4th, is still quite a ways away, but all district offices are going to be closed. And again, our next regular board meeting will be July 5th at 2 p.m. with the public hearing starting at 2:30. And we will have that special board meeting on the 24th for the budget.
Item V, executive session. The governing board may vote into executive session pursuant to ARS 38-431.03, subsection A, number 1, for the following personnel matter. A, superintendent performance pay set out pursuant to ARS-15-341, subsection A, number 39. Entertain a motion to do that.
I move to enter into executive session.
By Mr. Lindeman, is there a second? By Ms. Salchow. Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Beret?
Yes. We'll take a break. Does anybody need a break here before we go into executive? We'll just stay right here.
sounds crazy, but it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope, yes.
Okay, we're back in open session. Yes. Okay, we're back in open session. Item 6A, discussion action to approve the 5% for the superintendent's performance pay as stated on the contract pursuant to ARS 15-341, subsection A, number 39. Mr. Lindeman.
I move to approve the 5% payment for the performance pay for Mrs. Samaniego, Superintendent of DUSD, in the amount of $6,774.60.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Ramos. And just for the record, which is already in the contract, and it's reflected in the total amount of the contract which was issued and approved at a previous meeting. Roll call.
Ms. Elcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Bereen?
Yes. Entertain a motion to adjourn
So moved.
Move
by
to-
Mr. Ramos,
Second.
second by Mr. Lindeman. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I will go and enjoy yourself. I'll talk to you when you get.